Dorothy. How did you get Girls Inc. of Carpinteria going?
Because I moved here and was aghast that there was nothing to do for girls. A lot of activity about building a boys' club, and nobody was thinking about the girls. So.
And what year was this about?
This was in 1970, a year after we moved here.
And what about the feminist movement? They weren't thinking about girls then?
Not yet. In fact, 1970 was, the year. But here in Carpinteria, they were saying, when I went to the city council asking for just a share of the money the boys' club was getting, they were getting,
how much was that?
$3,000 a year to buy new baseball and
football pads.
Yeah, and so I didn't know, what was going on.
So you requested it of the city council.
Yes, and they said if the girls wanted to be playing baseball, they'd be out there playing baseball. So this was after we were a little bit more formed. And so I put a little piece in the paper that said that girls' softball teams would be forming behind the elementary school, not the elementary, the junior high school. And so, bring your mom and sign up. We ended up with 7 teams.
7 teams?
Wow.
7 teams of girls.
Wow, that's phenomenal.
With their mothers, some of whom were dying to play softball. I never have myself.
And that was the beginnings of Girls Inc. of Carpinteria?
No, that was about 2 or 3 years after Girls Inc. Excuse me, not of Girls Club. Charles, how are you? I haven't seen you for a long time. Every time I read something about our water system, I think of you and what a big help you were on the bluffs business. We had meetings at the water district.
So I was getting a story about how Girls Inc. started, yeah.
All right. How it started was that I said, this is terrible that there's nothing for girls. So I talked to a couple of ministers of churches. I got a church to say, well, we don't have Sunday school during the summer. Maybe they still don't, I don't know. But so you can take our summer school room. And so I think we must have put a piece in the paper, and I had 30 girls reporting. And before that, I had the few people I know who I knew were clever. I said, let's get going, and the money will come along, which it didn't quite so easily. So 4 days a week, the girls met for 3 hours, had a wonderful time. And
what type of things did they do?
What kind?
What did they do when they met?
Oh, well, each of the volunteers each of about maybe 6 volunteers had some specialty, and so there was a theme. There was a real theme to each meeting or each week, and they learned how to make dolls out of corn husks. They learned to make corn husk dolls, and we did other kinds of things that I can't even remember anymore. But nothing cost very much, and most of the volunteers just donated materials that they had. We all had a very good time for 2 summers. And then the girls said, well, what are we going to do when school starts?
Oh, good question. Yeah.
So that was.
And then you said, let's have Girls Inc.
Well, no, we said let's have Girls Club. We're named Girls Inc. actually by the Boys and Girls Club, who, when they decided not to be a boys club anymore, decided that they were going to take on girls and have, this was a national boys club decision. And we fought it, but they said, no, don't quote me. There were big lawsuits.
I remember.
Do you remember that?
I do remember.
There were big lawsuits in New York, and they were pretty infuriating and scary. They said, you know, we could bankrupt you before you. So anyway, we had, although we won the lawsuit, they said, we'll keep suing you. So we said, okay, let's face it. And we went back to court and got, I don't know, several $1,000s in order to change our stationery and change our name. And we decided on, I didn't, the whole group decided on Girls Inc. because I think the tagline was, girls growing up is a business or something like that. Girls need to know business to grow up. Something like that. And people do ask once in a while why we have that name, and it was just that then the boys club became Boys and Girls Club, and they got donations that were really meant for us.
I'm sure.
So but none of this is to be broadcast.
Well, this is all to be broadcast. So don't include the stuff you don't want to be broadcast. Well, this is not to be broadcast. It's just for online about a story about Girls Inc.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, and then we had some after-school things with Penny Payne, who is a wonderful. Did you know Penny?
Penny Payne? No, I don't think so.
She's in town again. And I've got to get in touch with her. She was very clever needlework, and she was clever about a number of things. British. She trained at. Anyway. She was very good and good with the girls, and she was patient with us. We paid her almost nothing. But we did have some families, some local families who were very, very generous with us, and particularly the bakers who had the the bakers, they had the aluminum filter business.
Oh, okay.
And so there was a piece of land we could buy, and they called me in and said, don't ever pass up an opportunity to buy land. And almost from that time, when we actually took a deep breath and bought that little piece of land on Oak Street.
Oh, okay.
No, it wasn't Oak. Walnut. They would call me into their office and say, we have something for you, Dorothy. And it would always be a big size check to pay for that land because they had talked me into buying it. And hardly anybody ever helps you pay for something they
No.
talk you into buying.
So one person can really make a difference. I know you made a difference also on acquiring the Bluffs and other issues.
Yeah,
What
well-
are the big issues in your time? Girls Inc., the Bluffs, what else? League of Women Voters.
Oh yeah, I started are you aware that the girls club, you see it's still a girls club.
Yeah.
That Girls Inc. Now has I can't think of the name of it, a endowment. They're just starting an endowment. I started an endowment for the League of Women Voters, the local league, Santa Barbara League. And we started with practically, I think we started out with something like $200 or $300. And now we're able to cast off, the league is able to take about $7,000 a year to pay for unexpected, any organization that prints.
Quite a story. Let me grab this from you. Thank you so much, Dorothy. And I'm gonna get a shot of one of the Girls Inc. Graduates. What was that?
I'll sue you
For everything I'm worth. If what? If you look bad or what? For what reason would you sue me?
Pardon me?
For what reason would you sue me?
Well,
If you're misrepresented?
legally, I shouldn't say anything bad about anybody.
I agree. Thanks, Dorothy.